What is up, guys? It is ajmarkle with Holly Clark SFM. Welcome to episode number 17 of If Disney Animated Classics Were Released Today. This series, we go into the animated classics of Disney. And today, we are talking about...
The Little Mermaid.
And yes, we are aware about the future 2023 release of the live-action movie. My only comment is, I don't really care what race Ariel is. I just want Disney to make a good story. That's all I'm going to say.
Same here.
Alright, so anyway, we'll jump straight into it. Hold your comments on the movie.
Yeah, and this film was made in 1989, actually.
Yep. So, it all starts with a mermaid princess, royalty, Ariel. Now, let's point this out. This is a 16-year-old princess.
Yeah, so what exactly would you expect from a 16-year-old to do?
Rebellious? I don't know.
Yeah, sort of that stereotype.
Yes.
Yeah. We were teenagers once too.
Yeah. So basically, apparently in the under the sea, you guys know the song, Under the Sea. Oh, shut up. Anyway, her father, Ariel's father, Triton, is actually not a person that really trusts the human world, even though Ariel wants to learn about the human world, which this is very common for some 16-year-olds because that want to go out in the world thinking they know everything. That's same for guys too. Don't assume just ladies act like that.
Exactly.
So Sebastian's the crab, and later on, Ariel goes to the surface to see a birthday of a man who's a prince named Eric.
Yeah, and she's collecting human artifacts as well and taking them to her little cave, and along with her is actually her best friend, Flounder.
The little yellow fish. And also to point out, it's also called a grotto, so that's like her little area. So later on, after they watch the birth celebration, they say Ariel falls in love with Eric after a little while, which that's so Disney cliche. Falling in love, knock it off.
Yeah, we've all seen it before, guys. We've all seen it before.
Okay, Snow White, yeah, okay. Anyway, so later on, as we continue on, one night a storm attacked, wrecking a ship that Eric was on, and he ends up getting rescued by Ariel, and she sung to him, but he was gaining consciousness, so she went back to the sea. Kind of ironic. But after she does that, Eric vows to find the girl who saved and sang to him, and vowed to join him. But unfortunately, Triton begins to just get suspicious and tosses Sebastian. When he learns about that Ariel fell in love with the Prince Eric, he decided to destroy Ariel's grotto and her collection of artifacts, which he thought it was his way of protecting her. Keep in mind that I am not a parent. I'm not even married, but that is not the best way to handle that type. You should discuss things. But it would also, this wasn't mentioned in the movie, but Ariel's mother was actually killed in an incident from humans, and as a result, that's why he didn't want music and didn't want Ariel to go to the human world. That is something that we won't discuss in another video. I just want to bring that little fact in so it makes sense why he would act the way he did.
Yeah, so we actually know the reason why. It's not just like, just a whole prejudice thing that's out of nowhere, but there's a natural reason.
Or a lack of trust, because mermaids have been given the bad stereotype of misleading sailors to their doom.
Yeah, exactly.
So after that whole thing, Ariel gets some advice from two eels, Flotsam and Jetsam, to visit Ursula the Sea Witch. Okay, already there's a sea witch in under the sea. So you guys probably are wondering, why is this in a rated G anime film? It's Disney, and that's not the worst that's gonna happen. So Ariel, in short terms, makes a deal with Ursula to give her voice in order to go to the human world. I mean, that's a sacrifice Ariel chose to make. And here's the deal. If Ariel gets Eric to kiss her within 3 days, she could become a human forever. But if not, she has to go back to the sea. And during this time, Ariel becomes mute. Like, she was literally mute for all those 3 days. During this time, she almost kissed him, with Sebastian going, "Kiss the girl." Don't say it.
Copyright.
Dadgummit. So, unfortunately, those same two eels ruin it. Kind of like a little brother ruining a moment between a brother and his girlfriend. So, anyway.
Gross.
Hey, we're boyfriend girlfriend. Relax. Okay. Anyway, the other thing that happens is Ursula got furious at Ariel's close success. And since she's the villainess, female villain, she decides to disguise herself as the woman Vanessa, and uses a charm, because she's a witch, to get Eric to forget Ariel.
And also uses Ariel's voice that she used from her shell charm necklace that Eric, your son, to it.
Yeah, and to make it worse, the next day, Ariel discovers that Eric will be married to Vanessa, and the seagull known as Scuttle had discovered that Vanessa's true identity was Ursula, and Ariel was informed. Sebastian warns Trident, and Scuttle disrupts the wedding with the help of various sea animals. Oh, and for the record, I did see a clip where he just goes around.
Yeah, and I will say, so seagulls can be nasty.
Especially when you try to steal your best friend's man.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening, we get a lesson on how to crash a wedding, and what happens is Ursula had this necklace that held Ariel's voice, so as a result, the necklace broke, and the voice went back to Ariel, and just when Eric found out it was Ariel that had the voice, Eric was going to kiss her, but then the sun set, and the 3 days were up, and Ariel gets kidnapped back under the sea. Okay, Disney, can we name how many times that Disney as a result used the kidnapping plot device here? Comment down below.
Yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, right. Millions of times.
Okay, a little exaggeration, but it's pretty much that's pretty much almost every single episode we talked about. Even Robin Hood had some pretty dark elements, including a near kidnapping, which no, that was more taxation, but still, kidnapping was a very common thing. So anyway, after that, this is where
Things get a bit dark.
Yeah, it got so dark that Trident decided to take Ariel's place as Ursula's prisoner and gave up to Trident, which resulted in Ursula wanting to become the Queen of the Seven Seas. However, Eric intervened with a harpoon, and he begins his own battle. So for the first time, not only is Ariel going to fight Ursula, a female protagonist, but the male Eric is also fighting. So this is probably not a date to remember, just to point out.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening, while Ariel did distract Ursula to the point where she inadvertently killed Flotsam and Jetsam. Okay, killing already. And Ursula tried to use the trident to kill Eric after growing to a monstrous size. kind of like David and Goliath. But after that, after the whole thing, even with Ariel and Eric reuniting, Ursula still gained control of the entire ocean and made a storm. And was sunk his ships to the surface. And she was going to try and kill Ariel. Wow, villainesses, you guys get the hint. Eric commanded a wrecked ship and stabbed Ursula right through her midsection.
Not only for that, but we also saw her getting, like, electrocuted, and to the point we see her own skeleton.
It's a very common thing when in cartoons someone gets electrocuted, you see their skeleton. So as a result, Trident was able to be reverted back to the original form like everyone else because Ursula transformed him. And as a result, Eric was willing to marry her after Trident permanently changed Ariel back to a human. And they get married. I mean, they have a happily ever after. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably another dark movie. I mean, 1989 classic Little Mermaid, I can understand why its success has led to making a live action. I'm not exactly have hopes for live action with Disney, but that's just because Disney isn't really making good stories. They're just trying to copy and make more money. But that's another story. I think if Holly and I ever do a video talking about this, it will probably be discussed separately. So anyway, the rating. You guys probably want to know the rating at this point. Holly, let's discuss. Let's see. Let's see. You start.
Well, first off, kidnapping, as usual. Death, not only to sea animals, such as being accidental death to the eels, death to the villainous in a more brutal way.
Witchcraft, because she's a sea witch.
Yep, witchcraft. And I did talk to Aaron about this, and some people may or may not have seen this little message, but in my way, I put in, like, mute and disability part of the list because of how, even though Ariel temporarily becomes mute and how she's still struggling to use her legs, I thought it sounded very natural to those who are mute or have a disability in a way, sort of like awareness.
Yes, and it was very hard to communicate. Also, I will also point out as well that there is rebellion. I mean, that's something I don't think that should be encouraged at all in that way, because Ariel was 16 in this, by the way, married at 16. We've seen that before years ago, like, but and a little more last thing to bring out, I think it's safe to say, though, that some of the darker elements involving not just the deaths and everything, but the dark story about basically how it happened. Because if they added that scene about Ariel's mother, which I don't think they did in Little Mermaid, did they, honey?
No, they didn't, but they did in one of the Little Mermaid sequels, I believe, which is called Ariel's Beginning.
Okay, yeah. So it was Ariel's beginning that we get to actually address that. We probably won't get to that, but if we do, it'll probably be much later on. But basically, in conclusion, what do you think this rating will be?
Well then, from what I can tell from so many things going on, I think it's safe to say that it would possibly be at least PG-13.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, but I have to agree with Holly, but PG-13 it is, because kidnapping is a very serious thing. Not to mention attempted murder, killings, and not to mention manipulation, witchcraft. Yeah, Disney went there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the live action gets mellowed down to PG, because they did that with Lion King, Aladdin, where they were live action with PG, and nothing surprises me at this point. But if you guys think it should be a different rating, comment below. We really want to see your comments, reread them, and we want to hear your opinions on this. In the future, on Holly's channel, hopefully, we will discuss the Telltale's Walking Dead series, the video game series. But that's, yes, on Holly's channel only. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm signing out for now. Oh, don't forget to check out my merch. Logo made by Holly. Anyway, God bless. You rock. Don't forget it. Holly?
Be unique and be creative. Have a good day, everyone.